Hi folks, it's Arnold here. I hope and pray that you're keeping well. As another Easter approaches, who would have believed that we would still be in lockdown 1 year on? For most, this has been a challenging year. For many, this has been a difficult year. For some, this has been a terrible year. Whichever category you may place yourself in, I hope that this poem brings you fresh light, life, and hope for the future. If Easter could speak. As Easter approaches, let's take time to reflect. We all know it's a school holiday, but if Easter could speak to us from its heart, what would it be saying today? I am more than a Christian celebration that follows 40 days of Lent. That isn't my sum and my substance. It's only part of the message I've sent. I am more than an annual church visit that was never part of my plan. More than Easter bunnies or chocolate cream eggs, or a time to look as good as one can. I am more than a full moon heralding spring, or an egg that's been painted by hand. Though there's nothing wrong with any of these things, I am something that's much, much more grand. I am an event that took place in the Holy Land, and though 2,000 years have since passed, the repercussions of that amazing weekend will for all time and eternity last. The story is this, you may know it well. A God of love with tears in his eyes looked at our human race destroyed by the fall, with no hope of us saving our lives. God created us, body, spirit, and soul, to spend time and eternity with him. But Satan's lies in the Garden of Eden robbed our innocence and introduced sin. Because God is holy and dwells in the light, no darkness can ever live there. So with love and justice, he looked for a way to rescue mankind from despair. The first Christmas began that process on earth when the God-child Jesus was born. And that first Easter became the climax when he faced crucifixion and scorn. Jesus' life had been normal before then, a humble carpenter until 30 years old. Then one day, John the Baptist declared him to be the Messiah the prophets had foretold. His teaching was radically different, speaking truth with such wisdom and grace. His authority amazed the spellbound crowds who saw compassion and love in his face. He healed the sick and made the lame walk, opened deaf ears and gave sight to blind eyes. He drove out evil spirits, even raised the dead, responding always to people's heart cries. Then, after 3 years doing nothing but good, jealous Pharisees accused him of blasphemy. And despite Pilate's efforts to set him free, they stirred the crowd and sealed his destiny. But they didn't know this was all in God's plan, to make a way back for the whole human race. So a God who is just could set us free. His Son Jesus had to die in our place. Just think for a moment, if he hadn't come and there was no one to save us from loss, and we lived in the darkness that Jesus endured for those terrible hours on that cross. But thank God he came and he took our place, took the punishment our sins deserved. Alone in the darkness when God poured on him all his wrath against our sins he'd reserved. If the Easter story had ended right there would be little to shout about. But on Easter Sunday, Jesus rose from the dead and has gone back to heaven, no doubt. You might ask how I know that he is alive. He's been my best friend more than 48 years. And though I've not seen him in the flesh, I know I will know him when he appears. And because Jesus lives, you and I can live too. That's the clear Easter message to all. John 3 verse 16 says, whoever believes won't face judgment because of the fall. The key to forgiveness is to come clean with God and admit all our failures and sin. Jesus' lifeblood was poured out that day on the cross to wipe our slate clean and new life to begin. The Easter message brings us new life and hope, the best news to end a difficult year. If you believe in what Jesus has done, he'll remove all your guilt and your fear. Thanks very much for taking the time to listen to my poem. I hope it was enjoyable and helpful to you. Please feel free to share it with anyone you think might appreciate it. If you would like to hear some more, then just press the subscribe button. In the meantime, keep well and be blessed.